Chiefs Kingdom, I'm going to be real with you. When I saw these two headlines back to back, I had to stop for a second. Because on one hand, you've got Bieniemy back in Kansas City, and suddenly there's real noise about a possible reunion with that former star wide receiver we all remember changing games every single week. And then, at the same time, you're hearing from Super Bowl week that Travis Kelce coming back for one more season is looking more real than ever. That's not random. That's not just off-season chatter. That feels like the Chiefs staring at this moment and asking a serious question. Are we really done, or are we taking one more swing? I'm Victor, this is Chiefs Nation Update, and before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so we can reach 100 subscribers. Because if these two stories connect the way it feels like they might, this offseason could change the entire direction of this team. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, let's talk about the story that instantly got everyone buzzing the moment it dropped. The Chiefs didn't just make a coaching change this offseason, they brought Bieniemy back to Kansas City, and that alone already means something. We all remember what this offense looked like the last time Bieniemy was calling the shots. The rhythm, the explosiveness, the way Patrick Mahomes looked completely comfortable running things. But then, almost immediately after that news, something else happened. A familiar name popped up, a former Chiefs star, and not in a random way. Tyreek Hill posts a short cryptic message right after the Bieniemy news, EB to the Chiefs ham. And if you're telling me that didn't make you pause for a second, I don't believe you. Because suddenly this isn't just about a coach coming back, it's about the idea of a reunion that once felt impossible. From the Chiefs' side, the timing actually makes sense. The receiver room was inconsistent last season. There's talent there, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, but no one truly scared defenses week after week. Travis Kelce ended up leading the team in receiving again, with 851 yards and 5 touchdowns. That tells you everything. As great as Kelce is, the offense clearly needs more proven firepower on the outside, and that's where Tyreek Hill enters the conversation. Now, let's be clear, this is not a clean, risk-free idea. Hill's career has come with off-field baggage, and that's something the Chiefs would absolutely have to weigh. On top of that, he's coming off a season-ending knee injury, and his last 2 years haven't looked like the peak version we remember. His averages, under 5 catches per game and just over 58 yards, reflect that. But here's the thing, Chiefs fans can't ignore. Even in that version of Tyreek Hill, he's still a big play threat. He's still averaging 12 yards per catch. He still has that instant chemistry with Mahomes. And with Bieniemy back in the building, the idea wouldn't be about turning Hill into the focal point again. It would be about using him as a high-end piece in the system. Then you look at the financial side, and this is where it gets really interesting. Miami is clearly transitioning. New front office, new direction, and Hill's contract is a problem for them. A big one. Moving him would save the Dolphins anywhere from $22 to $35 million depending on timing. That means they're motivated. And for Kansas City, Miami would likely be eating most of the contract. There's only 1 year left. No long-term commitment, no future cap anchor, the proposed trade cost, late-round picks. Nothing that cripples the future. So from a fan perspective, this doesn't feel reckless. It feels calculated. A short-term swing. A move that fits the moment. A reunion that could quietly change how defenses line up against the Chiefs again. Now, does it guarantee anything? Of course not, but it does tell us something important about where the Chiefs' mindset might be. They're not just resetting, they're looking for sparks. And what really gets me is this Tyreek Hill conversation doesn't exist in isolation. Because while all of this is happening, there's another name, another decision, another storyline quietly developing in the background that could completely change how this reunion would be viewed. And once you hear that second piece of the puzzle, this entire offseason starts to feel a lot more intentional than people realize. All right, let's shift to the other storyline that's quietly carrying a lot of weight for this offseason, because this one hits right in the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. According to multiple insiders around the league, Travis Kelce coming back for another season is looking more real than ever. Retirement has been part of the conversation, sure, but the people closest to Kelce believe a 14th season is very much on the table. He's been active, visible, upbeat during Super Bowl week in San Francisco, and nothing about his body language screams, "I'm done." And as a Chiefs fan, that instantly pulls you in two different emotional directions. On one hand, there's relief. Kelce is still the emotional engine of this offense. Even in a down year, even with defenses keying on him, he still finished as the team's leading receiver. That doesn't happen by accident. When things break down, When Mahomes needs a third down conversion, when the game gets tight late, Kelce is still the guy everyone trusts. But on the other hand, there's also reality. This season exposed something that Chiefs fans aren't used to seeing. For years, this team lived off fourth-quarter magic. Comebacks felt inevitable. This year, that magic disappeared. In 12 of the 14 games Mahomes started, the Chiefs had at least a 50% win probability in the fourth quarter, and still finished 6-8. That's jarring. That's not who this team has been. So when we talk about Kelce potentially returning, it's not just about nostalgia or loyalty, it's about timing. If Kelce comes back, it means the Chiefs are not fully turning the page yet. They're still trying to squeeze another real run out of this core. It's a sign that the window isn't being slammed shut, but it's also a reminder that the margin for error is thinner than it's ever been. From a fan perspective, I feel both hope and pressure here. Hope, because Kelce still brings leadership, trust, and chemistry with Mahomes that you can't replace overnight. Pressure, because if he's back, the offense can't look the same as last year. It can't rely on him to carry everything again. That's not fair to him, and it's not sustainable for the team. And this is where these two stories start to connect in a really interesting way. On one side, you have the possibility of Travis Kelce returning, choosing to run it back one more time. On the other, you have the idea of Eric Bieniemy back in the building and a potential Tyreek Hill reunion being discussed. Put those together, and it tells you exactly where the Chiefs are mentally right now. This isn't a rebuild mindset. This isn't patience mode. This is a franchise looking at its core and saying, we still believe, but we can't stand still. Whether that ends up being the right call or a risky one is still up in the air. But one thing is clear as a fan watching all this unfold. The Chiefs are at a decisive moment, not a comfortable one. And the moves they make next will tell us if this is the start of one last real push or the beginning of a much harder transition than anyone wants to admit. So when you zoom out and look at this moment as a whole, this news hits different. Travis Kelce potentially coming back isn't just about one more season. It's about where this team believes it still is. It tells me the Chiefs aren't ready to walk away from this window. They still believe there's unfinished business here, even after a season that didn't feel like us. As a fan, that gives me hope, but it also raises expectations. If Kelce's back, if this core is still intact, then the standard doesn't drop. You don't get to say transition year, you don't get excuses. This has to be about fixing what broke, getting sharper late in games, and giving Mahomes the support he deserves. This feels like a crossroads moment, not panic, not comfort either. A moment where the next few decisions will tell us exactly who the Chiefs are trying to be in this next chapter. And before we wrap this up, quick thing. We're really close to hitting 100 subscribers here on Chiefs Nation Update. And honestly, if you've been rocking with the channel, this is where you help us push it over the line. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Drop a like, join the channel, and stick with us. This offseason is already getting crazy, and it's only going to get louder from here. Also, let me know what you think in the comments. Chiefs Kingdom always has something to say, and I want to hear it.